Siobhan here. Today I will be tinting my eyebrows for the first time ever. We're going to learn this together. And trust me, if I can do it, you can too. I'll also be doing a wax in my next video along with eyelash lifting and tinting. So remember to subscribe and follow so you don't miss it. You need a dark brown eyebrow tint kit, a disposable mascara brush, disposable lipstick applicator, a white eyebrow mapping pen, eyebrow mapping string, and this is what you'll find inside of the eyebrow tint kit. First, you want to make sure your eyebrows are completely washed with soap and water and completely dried off to get all of the oils off. I also like to use some alcohol with a pad and just wipe it to get all of the dirt off. Next, you want to brush up your eyebrows, and this will help give them that fuller laminated look. Here's a key tip when it comes to the mapping string. Don't open the box. I made a big mistake and opened the box not knowing that it was actually prepared with the string out, kind of like dental floss. So all you need to do is really just take that sticker off and you'll be good to go. Now we're going to get ready to map out our eyebrows. So you want to just pull out just enough string, not too much. Cut it off. And it's just like dental floss, like I said, and just wrap it around your finger. Your first mark is going straight down the center of your face, right between the eyebrows. Your second mark is going directly down the corner of your eye, past the brow and along the nose. And do the same thing on the other side. Next, you're going to connect the bottom of one eyebrow line to the top of the opposite eyebrow line. And symmetry is so key, so take your time here to make sure it matches up. Line number 6 is going to come from the corner of your nose, past the iris, up the arch. So this is going to be the marker of your arch, and then you're going to move it outward to the outer corner of your eye to mark the tail of your eyebrow. And do that on both sides. I had no idea how messy this string could be. It got all over my face, all over my fingers. Oh my gosh. But moving on. So now you're just going to follow the lines. You're going to go over each cross point all the way across, connecting each point on the top and the bottom of the brows on both sides. This is how it should look after you go through with your mapping string. Now, because we want our brows extra crispy, we're going to go in with our mapping pen and we're just going to clean up all of those lines to make it as symmetrical as possible. Next, we're going to use a little bit of alcohol along with our disposable lipstick applicator, and we're just going to erase those extra lines. And I know this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Please be careful and don't get any alcohol in your eyes because it will burn. Once you've erased those lines, you can start to erase the lines inside of the brow, at the head of the brow, and clean it up again with your marker need be. Now on to the tinting process, finally. Please be sure to follow the instructions that are specific to the brand and type of dye that you're using. Because mine only required a half spoon of dye powder, I love that it came with this container to store the rest of the powder in for future use. Now it's time to set your timer and apply the dye. We're going to do this in 3 sections, starting with the tail of the eyebrow. This is so this section has the most amount of time to set, so that way it's darkest. Once you're done with one tail, immediately go to the other, so that way they have the same amount of time to set. And you only want to put a little bit of product on your brush before applying it so the dye isn't dripping and sloppy and just a whole disaster. Now really take your time with this, making sure you're following the lines, that you're staying within the parameters of the shape of the eyebrow so it's as close to how you mapped it out as possible. If you do come out the lines a little bit, that's totally fine. Just get a lipstick applicator with a little alcohol and immediately wipe it off. Next, we're going to go back to the first eyebrow and begin to fill it in over the tail again, and then moving toward the middle of the eyebrow. Now, be careful not to go to the head of the eyebrow because we don't want boxy eyebrows. You're going to fill it in, and as you fill it in, make sure you're pressing in the dye. You want to stay at least 1/4 of an inch away from the head of the eyebrow And I'll explain why in the next step. Meanwhile, just continue to pack in the dye. Again, you don't want it too drippy or too goopy, but you want to make sure you fill in the eyebrow so it's very rich, very full. Because, girl, this is your whole face. Who wants bald spots or patchy spots in their eyebrows? Now we move on to phase 3, the head of the brow. Here, we're going to make hair-like strokes on both sides of the head of the brow. And the reason we do this section last is because we don't want the dye so thick and so dark. We want a gradient, nice look once we remove the dye from the brow after it processes. So once you do one side, you'll move on to the other side. And please take your time. Make sure that you're staying in the lines as much as possible. But again, if you come out the lines, just get your lipstick applicator with the alcohol and just wipe it up as soon as you can. As you're waiting the last couple of minutes for the dye to finalize, you could just go around both brows and just clean it up the best that you can. Now, last step, we're going to take a clean lipstick applicator and we're going to wipe off the dye starting with the head of the eyebrow, because we don't want it to process as long as the rest of the brow, because again, we want a gradient look. We don't want it so dark. So we're going to start with that section. We're going to wipe the whole brow on both sides. Again, feel free to get one of those cotton pads too. Those are great. You can wipe it right off. Now, my eyebrow kit, according to the instructions, says it came with a cleaner that I was supposed to use. There was no cleaner. So I just used a mild soap and some water and just wiped it off. And once it was washed off, I got a dry cotton pad and wiped it off. I was very happy with my choice of going with a dark brown versus a black because I wanted a more natural looking color and not like I had a Sharpie marker against my face. But I am so glad I chose dark brown. It looks very natural, very nice. And I can't wait to wax my own eyebrows for the very first time in my next video, because once they're waxed, baby, that's gonna set it off. If this video was at all helpful to you or any of your girlies, please make sure you follow, like, and subscribe and share the video. Look, we're all on this learning journey together, so let's make it fun and share the love and let's learn together.